Good morning, everybody. How are you? If you want to move around, that's okay with me. We've been sitting for a while. As the host campus, I welcome you to the summit today, and we're doing a good job catching up on timing a little bit. So I have a short presentation for you in terms of what Stanford has done as a complete energy solution, where solar is a component of it. And then at the very end, we also have a tour of our new central energy facility. So I hope you'll all stay till then. And my presentation has some key points. It also has a video, the only video I could find, which has our president and SunPower CEO all in one. So when it comes to complete energy solution, and of course in sustainability, nothing happens in isolation. Energy is tied to water, water is tied to waste, waste is tied to procurement and all of that, and I will focus on energy. But it's interesting that we were given the opportunity to talk about the complete energy solution, because that's how we like to think about it on this campus as well. With 4,000 faculty, 18,000 or 22,000, depending on how you count, students, 10,000 staff, and thousands of visitors, this big campus is a big city and a municipality, and most importantly, a role model to not just our students, but to the industry as well. So we take that responsibility very seriously in coming up with not just a solution that would work today, but also in the future, and in the process, drive innovation that sets marks for the industry. So a lot of words there. Let me share some examples. As a campus, and we're talking about education today, I think it's an underlying theme. Higher education is its own beast, so to speak, and sometimes we institutionally carry a little bit more financial capacity, but some of the institutional barriers and the challenges are more or less the same. And I do want to recognize Tom Kelly's earlier points, and whichever proposition it is, if you don't have the people who would do the work, often a lot of these good ideas are really difficult to implement. So here at Stanford, we have two parallel rivers on sustainability that flow, I like to think, seamlessly after having worked on this campus for 9 years. On the academic side, we have the complete institutional and interdisciplinary focus on research and education that is really, really the highlight at Stanford today. All our students are exposed to so many disciplines, because when it comes to environment and sustainability, you really have to solve the problems uniting a lot of the different kinds of solutions together. Today at Stanford, 750 different courses on sustainability are taught across 7 schools, and it's a core principle. There are many options through which our undergraduate and graduate students really get to explore sustainability in energy management and all the nexus, energy-water nexus, food-water nexus, energy-food nexus, really in an interdisciplinary way in their research. And we are the campus folks who are trying to physically create a living laboratory of sustainability on campus. So it's important to understand that we live in that macrocosm and microcosm of whatever we're teaching in the classroom. Let's make sure that we are being able to implement it in our lands and buildings as well. So our core mission is to integrate sustainability into everything we do. Integrate sustainability into everything we do. And there's really no shortcut to that. We've tried shortcuts, not just here, but in higher education in general. But until you integrate sustainability into everything we do, there always seems to be something that falls out. And that's true for energy management and others. And there's a lot of ways to get this done, but there seems to be always some core principles that work in implementing any solution, whether it's a complete energy solution or water or waste, whichever way you look at it. So we find that the collaborative governance is really at the core. This is bringing all the stakeholders at the table. And then we have tremendous amount of planning support and evaluations and reporting, measuring what we are doing, how we could do it better, and what should be done better. Those two are constantly helping each other out. We have a strong, robust business systems, data, reporting processes, and you really have to do a lot of outreach and education as well as conservation around it. And we find that this formula works to serve in any aspect of sustainability, whether it's a complete energy management, water, transportation, waste, food and dining, transportation, et cetera. So diving a little bit into energy, about 8 years ago, this campus wanted to put a lot of the pieces of energy together to come with a complete solution. Not that things were not happening already. We had all our buildings metered, we understood our numbers, we had a lot of efficiency programs in place, but the deliberate approach towards sustainability in a long-term way really came together for us in about 2007 and 8. Was to support the academic mission, which is the role model for the state and the nation, to maintain economic viability. And this is where solar is such an interesting story, because the economic viability of solar really improved over time, and also to lead sustainability by example. So this is the hero we talk about, and you'll get to see it later today if you take the tour. We call it Stanford Energy System Innovations, or SESI, and the face of it is the new central energy plant, but it's essentially a redo of our complete energy system. The campus ran on its cogeneration facility for 28 years, and that system was going to come to its end of its useful life last year, which it did. So it was an opportunity for us to rethink our energy supply and demand and efficiency and renewables and all the good stuff. And we moved away from cogeneration and free from fossil fuel to a heat recovery system where on campus today we are self-sufficient, almost self-sufficient in our thermal energy, and we're getting all our electricity from the grid. And the grid, as you know, you can have flexibility there, and so do we. We do have a good portion of that. 50% of it is coming from a solar plant that's being built by SunPower. 3% of it is coming from rooftop solar. So it's a big campus, but when you put rooftop on its campus roofs, it's still a relatively small amount compared to the total portion of electricity that we need. And we do heavily rely on the renewable energy portfolio of California. So I was grateful that the commissioner spoke to that this morning. So here are the stats: 68% reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions as an institution. Do you know of any other entity, any school, any university who can say that? Carbon neutrality goals, yeah, there are those. It already reduced the campus's drinking water supply by 15%. And the savings is what really made the business case possible for $150 million over the next 35 years. And you know, we've heard a lot of our speakers speak to this financial evaluation system where we're really looking at the future cost of things, and that's really a way to justify a lot of the new innovation. So we're very proud of this project. It really helped us understand our own energy model, study a lot over the years what would have worked, and this is the biggest construction project in the history of the campus, a tremendous amount of dollar investment, and a tremendous payback, and of course, we're very excited. As a result, our greenhouse gas emissions footprint and other natural resources use have come down significantly. To complete the energy story, of course, is the aggressive energy conservation that has to continue to go on. Energy efficiency in many ways is running to stand still, but you gotta do it. Because if you don't, a tremendous reduction on the supply side would still be difficult to maintain over time. So this is a campus which very aggressively maintains our energy efficiency portfolio through constant retrofits, all the different monitoring, recommissioning, and high efficiency equipment. And also we're really starting to get into advanced controls within our buildings. And it doesn't complete the energy story if you don't talk about the buildings that we build. From about 2000 to 2015, all the major constructions that has happened at Stanford campus, we have really set the bar to the point where with every major lab building, which is a very high energy intensity construction, we've learned a lot about The design, we've set the targets each time higher than not just the California code or LEED certification or Labs 21, et cetera, but to really understand each building as a system as well as how it also resides within the greater system of the university campus. So through very large growth spurts that this university has gone through in the last 2 decades, we've actually become more energy efficient and less energy intense, even though we've built quite a few new research and classroom facilities. And earlier speaker spoke to you about behavior. It's true. All these energy efficiency and renewable energy supply and others, these are few people can make large decisions for a large campus, and it brings substantial savings, but individuals still have to play their role in terms of conserving. So we do have a lot of active conservation campaigns, and a way to measure them, even if it's a small slice of the pie, we do count them on an annual basis and motivate our campus individuals to make sure that those do happen. So to wrap it up in terms of our complete energy solution, this is our greenhouse gas emissions portfolio for campus. Here's our water reduction that we have experienced by making our energy use more efficient. And in the key program elements of our new energy solution, we have the heat recovery component, the thermal system, and I want to speak a little bit to the renewable energy to make it relevant for our conference today. And that is this mix that we talked about. Our Stanford's own renewable energy mix right now is at 65%. So of course, I have more work to do. My colleagues have more work to do. We would like to go to 100%. We're not setting a goal, but we think we can get there sooner than others. That's sort of like a style at Stanford. We like to do them and talk about it later. We think that through additional procurement of renewable sources and ground source heat exchange, and we're aggressively looking into a few other solutions so our electricity can be completely renewable as well. And here's our rooftop solar story. It is, because it's so cost competitive, we do have about 3% of our total electricity use now coming from the rooftop installations, about 16 Stanford buildings. People ask, why not all of them? Well, not all of them are suitable for the installation, but we are installing them on all the campus roofs that are. Very small if you look at the full campus pictures, but those are the ones suitable. And this is the Cardinal Solar Farm being built. It's under construction. It comes online by October or December of this year. Kern County, Southern California, 67 megawatts DC or 54 megawatts AC, depending on how you look at that. And this is something we're very excited about in contractually. We were able to do this because solar is so cost competitive. So it's really good news for us, and I believe there's a short video you will enjoy now about this project, or the total energy solution.
This project has been a long time in coming. The Stanford Energy System Innovation project will rely largely on renewable sources for its electricity and dramatically reduce its use of fossil fuel, primarily by achieving dramatic improvements in efficiency. It will reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 68%, eliminating 150,000 tons of carbon dioxide. It will reduce our campus water use by 15%, and that's on top of a 21% reduction we've already achieved in the last 15 years.
About 2/3 of our work will be done with heat recovery. Actually, 57% of the waste heat from cooling the campus will be reused to provide over 90% of the heating for our buildings. When you consider that about 20% of the nation's energy is consumed in heating and cooling buildings, then you can see the potential for this technology.
We sought from the beginning to think about how we could make much more use of renewable resources in our electricity supply. The Stanford Solar Generating Station, which will be designed and built by SunPower, using technology which began dozens of years ago here at Stanford, will produce half of the university's electricity by 2016. Once the Stanford Solar Generating Station is operational, 65% of our campus electricity will be supplied from renewable sources.
We are proud that our company's history is closely tied to Stanford, and we're proud to partner with the university today in its unprecedented commitment to provide a majority of its campus electricity from renewable sources in California. We know that other organizations will follow the university in its bold vision, relying on the abundance of solar and other renewables to cleanly power their operations for the future.
This is a big day, not only I think for our university, but hopefully a big day for the future of how people think about energy, using energy, and producing it. Hopefully this project will serve as a model for others to see what can be done by thinking in a far-sighted way.
So SunPower was very good about making sure that we didn't turn this into partnership, but that wasn't really the purpose. It was, we worked on this project for so long that by the time you actually sign the contracts and have this kind of a press event, there's a lot of work and thought and power purchase agreements and other contracts to sign. And I'm just here to tell you that it really, really works, and we do want other universities and others who think that they might be at a bind to kind of keep up the good fight. So later today at 3 o'clock, you're going to tour this facility. Again, the panels are not here. This is a heat recovery facility that's just really an elegant interplay between a hot water system and a chill water system. It's a big hot water boiling plant, a lot of people joke. But the heat recovery plant is really our central energy facility we have today, and all the electricity is coming from the grid and other renewable sources. So Maura Hafer, Maura, if you want to take a quick stand, she is going to be your tour guide today. And the energy facility, we like to tell it as a complete energy story because it's talking about energy supply, it's talking about energy demand, and it is talking about renewable energy. And we build the system in such a way that it's flexible and open to future technologies as well. Universities think long-term. We want to exist in perpetuity, so our energy systems are not a 5-year, 10-year solution, but 50, 100, 150-year solutions. The reason why this one is important to us is because we knew that we built it at a time when energy solutions more important than ever, and they have to coexist in relation to other natural resources as well. So with that, this is a plant that we have many other visitors for. It's also an educational facility where students come and take classes and understand how the system is working. And the band plays there for those of you who like the very odd Stanford band. And hopefully you'll stay for the tour and enjoy it later as well. Thank you for your time.